Hey everyone! Welcome back. Today's episode is a long shopping conversation, so you can hear English the way people really use it, in stories, reactions, and everyday opinions. We'll keep it relaxed, practical, and easy to follow.
And yes, shopping is perfect for that because it sounds simple until you need the right size, the right price, and the right patience. Then it turns into a real-life test of your mood, your decision-making, and your English all at once.
So imagine this. I needed an outfit for a family dinner. Nothing extremely formal, but still important enough that I wanted to look nice. I told myself it would be quick, easy, and stress-free, which was probably my first mistake before I even left the house.
That is such a dangerous sentence. Whenever someone says, "This'll be quick," the universe usually hears it as a challenge and immediately adds lines, confusion, and one tiny problem that somehow becomes the whole story.
I went to the mall on Saturday afternoon, and the parking lot was already full. Inside, the stores were loud, crowded, and busy, with people moving in every direction. I could feel the energy right away, and not all of it was friendly.
That kind of energy can be exhausting. When a place is packed, you start noticing only the products and start noticing the whole atmosphere. The noise, the people, the pace, and the feeling that everybody else knows exactly where they're going.
The first store was packed with people. I stood near the entrance for a moment and just looked around because I honestly needed a second to breathe. There were jackets on every wall, shoes all over the floor, and customers holding items like they were in a race.
Packed is a great word here because it means extremely crowded. You can use it for stores, buses, restaurants, events, and even schedules. It's one of those words that instantly creates a picture in your head without needing a lot of explanation.
I immediately felt frustrated, even before I tried anything on. Nothing was wrong in a dramatic way, but everything felt harder than it should have been, and that quiet annoyance was enough to change my mood. It already felt like the day was working against me.
Frustrated is exactly right. It means annoyed, stressed, and a little overwhelmed because the situation is not cooperating. It's not always loud anger. Sometimes it's that low, tired feeling of, why is this taking so much effort?
Then I found a dress I liked. It was on a mannequin, and it looked amazing from the first second. The color was soft, the style was simple, and I thought, perfect, this is the one. I was already imagining the event and how good I might feel wearing it.
That part is so relatable. Stores are very good at making clothes look flawless under the lights, and our brains help fill in the rest. We don't just see the dress, we see the version of ourselves we hope the dress will create.
When I tried it on, the zipper would not move all the way up. I turned, twisted, and tried again, but the answer was still no. The dress was beautiful, but it clearly did not love my body back, and that rejection felt strangely personal for a few seconds.
Ouch! That is the exact moment when the shopping trip starts shifting into a nightmare. In everyday English, nightmare can mean a terrible experience, even if it has nothing to do with sleep. A shopping nightmare is when nothing works the way you hoped.
At that point, I was tired, annoyed, and carrying 3 different dresses I didn't even want anymore. I sat on a bench near the fitting rooms and just stared ahead for a moment. My original 1-hour plan had completely disappeared, and I was starting to accept that.
That bench is where hope goes to rest for a while. It's the place where shoppers stop pretending everything is fine and quietly reconsider the whole plan. To be fair, that kind of pause is useful because it gives you time to decide what to do next.
Eventually, I gave up on the mall and decided to shop online later. I went home, made tea, opened my laptop, and the whole mood changed. No crowd, no noise, no awkward mirror lighting. Just me, my screen, and a little bit of stubborn optimism.
That's where convenient comes in. Something is convenient when it saves time, effort, or stress. Online shopping is convenient because you can do it from home, compare prices fast, and avoid lines. But of course, convenience usually comes with a few hidden trade-offs.
Right, because the same dress looked perfect online too. I clicked the size chart, read a few reviews, and told myself, this should be fine. But as soon as I ordered it, I started wondering about shipping speed, return rules, and whether the size would truly fit.
Size charts are almost like polite guesses. They help, but they never remove all the risk. And that's why online shopping feels calm at first and slightly suspenseful later. You're buying comfort with one hand and uncertainty with the other.
A few days later, the package arrived, and I felt excited for about 10 seconds before the nervous part took over. I opened the box carefully, almost like I was handling something fragile, even though it was just clothing. The whole moment felt weirdly dramatic.
That drama is part of the fun, honestly. In English, drama can mean extra stress, tension, or emotional intensity that feels bigger than it needs to be. A package arriving can be a tiny personal drama when you've invested enough hope in it.
I tried the dress on at home, and this time it fit. I was so relieved that I laughed out loud because all that worry had finally been for nothing. After the fitting room disaster, this felt like a small victory, and I was very happy to have it sorted out.
Sorted out is a very natural phrase. It means you fixed a problem, resolved a situation, or made something work. People use it all the time because it sounds calm and practical, like the problem may have been messy, but now it's under control.
And the funny part is that once the dress fit, I completely changed my opinion of the whole process. Before, I had been annoyed. After, I felt relieved and even a little proud. It's amazing how one small success can change the emotional tone of an entire day.
That emotional swing is exactly why shopping stories are so easy to talk about. One minute you're frustrated, the next you're hopeful, and then you're celebrating a tiny win like you just solved a major life problem. That's very human and very relatable.
I also found matching shoes online, and they were on sale, which made the whole thing feel even better. I felt like I had won a tiny shopping battle because the outfit worked, the price was reasonable, and the final result actually looked good together.
On sale is a phrase people use constantly. It means the price is lower than usual, and it often creates instant excitement. Even if you weren't planning to buy anything, a sale sign can completely change the mood of the room and your own sense of logic.
That's the dangerous part. Shopping can make us sound very reasonable in our own heads. We start saying things like, I need this, or it's a good deal, when what we really mean is, I want it, and I've found a way to justify it.
Exactly. And that's why budget language is so useful. People constantly compare what they want with what they can afford. And that leads to phrases like a bit pricey, worth it, too expensive, or I can stretch my budget a little.
Let's pause and teach the first key word clearly. Frustrating means something makes you annoyed or stressed because it is not going the way you expected. Waiting in line for a long time is frustrating, and a website crashing while you pay is frustrating too.
Packed is another one. When a place is packed, it is extremely crowded with people or things. You can say the store was packed, the bus was packed, or even the calendar was packed. It's a simple word that gives a very strong picture.
Convenient is when something makes life easier or saves effort. A nearby store is convenient. Online shopping is convenient, and a fast checkout system is convenient. It's a very useful word because people talk about convenience all the time in daily life.
Hassle is great because it carries the feeling of annoyance and extra work. Returning an item can be a hassle, filling out forms can be a hassle, and waiting for customer service can be a hassle too. It's one of the most natural shopping words you can learn.
Tricky means difficult, confusing, or requiring care. A tricky size chart, a tricky return policy, or a tricky discount code all feel like shopping problems you have to think through carefully. It's a flexible word that fits many small, everyday situations.
Drama is useful when something feels unnecessarily stressful or overly complicated. Not every problem is drama, but some shocking experiences definitely deserve the word. Wrong size, missing package, long refund process, that is the kind of situation people call drama.
Now, let's make it even more natural with example sentences. It was frustrating to wait in line for an hour. Returning the item was such a hassle. The store was packed with people. Those are all the kinds of sentences native speakers actually say.
And that is the real goal. Not just knowing the vocabulary, but hearing how it sounds inside a normal sentence. Learners often know the dictionary meaning, but the phrase is what makes the language feel alive, flexible, and human.
I think the best part of shopping stories is that everyone has one. Maybe you bought the wrong size, maybe you waited too long, maybe you found the perfect thing on the last shelf. These little memories are easy to retell because they're full of feeling.
Exactly. And from a language point of view, shopping is great because it naturally includes description, comparison, emotion, and problem solving. That means you can practice a lot of useful English without forcing the conversation into something unnatural.
So let me ask you, William, do you prefer in-store shopping or online shopping? Because I feel like each one has a very different kind of stress. In-store gives you immediate answers, while online gives you convenience and more choices.
I'd say in-store is better for things you need to fit or touch, like shoes, jackets, or formal clothes. Online is better when you want speed, variety, and easy comparison. If I had to choose, I'd probably pick in-store for certainty and online for convenience.
When you shop in-store, you can try things on immediately, you can see the color in real light, feel the fabric, and decide right away. That immediate result is reassuring, especially when you do not want surprises later or extra trouble at home.
But the store can also be stressful because you deal with lines, noise, and limited stock. Sometimes you find the right item, but not the right size. Sometimes the last one is already gone. That is deeply annoying, even if the product itself looks perfect.
Online shopping feels calmer in the moment. You can browse from your couch, compare prices, read reviews, and take your time. That is why people call it convenient. But the calm part ends when the package arrives and you finally have to see if it works.
And then the suspense begins. Will it fit? Will the color match the photo? Will the fabric feel cheap or good? Online shopping is basically a series of hopes, guesses, and small prayers, which is why the whole experience feels so familiar to so many people.
Let's add two very natural phrases. Fingers crossed means you hope something goes well. If I say, the package should arrive tomorrow, fingers crossed, I'm saying I'm hoping for good luck. It's short, friendly, and extremely common in conversation.
And you can't beat it means nothing is better. If an item is stylish, comfortable, and affordable, you can say you can't beat it. It is a strong way to say something offers excellent value, and people love using it when they are genuinely impressed.
I like that phrase because it sounds confident and natural. For example, It was on sale, it fit perfectly, and the quality was great. You can't beat it. That kind of sentence feels like a real person speaking, not a textbook example.
Exactly. And those shorter reactions are part of real English, too. If a friend says they ordered something, you can simply reply, "Fingers crossed," or "Nice." Those tiny responses help conversations sound smooth, easy, and friendly.
Now let's do a quick role play. Imagine I say, "I'm not sure whether to buy it." A natural response might be, "Try it on again, and if it still feels good, go for it." That is supportive, practical English that people really use with friends.
And another response could be, "If you love it, just get it." That is casual, direct, and very common when someone is hesitating. Shopping creates so many small decisions that advice naturally becomes part of the conversation.
Sometimes the hardest part is not the shopping itself, but the decision. You hold two items and keep asking, which one is better? One might be cheaper, one might be more comfortable, and one might just feel more like you. That indecision can be tiring.
Decision-making is a huge part of shopping English. You need phrases like, "I'm deciding between these two," "I'm leaning toward this one," and "I'm not sure yet." Those expressions are useful anywhere choices are involved, not just in stores.
And once you make a decision, it feels satisfying. Even if the choice is small, there is a real sense of relief. You stop comparing, stop worrying, and finally move on. That is probably why people enjoy finding the perfect item after a long search.
It's the relief of ending uncertainty. That feeling is one of the strongest reasons shopping becomes memorable. Once you decide, you can breathe again. If the item is on sale, too, the relief becomes a little celebration and a little bit of pride.
Another phrase learners should know is, "I'm just browsing." That means you are looking around without a strong intention to buy. It is polite and common in stores, and it helps you avoid pressure while still sounding natural when someone asks if you need help.
Right, and stores hear that all the time. "I'm just browsing, thanks," is a perfect everyday sentence. You can also say, "I'm just looking," if you want something even simpler. Those are small phrases, but they make you sound comfortable in a store.
If you do need help, you can say, "I'm looking for a size medium," or "Do you have this in another color?" Those are practical shopping phrases that learners can use immediately. They are simple, but they make a huge difference in real life.
They really do. And once you know those phrases, shopping feels less intimidating. Instead of worrying about saying the wrong thing, you can focus on the experience itself. That confidence is one of the best rewards of learning real-world English.
I also think shopping teaches cultural habits. In some places, people expect you to ask for help. In others, staff may give you more space. So language and shopping manners go together, and the more you hear the phrases, the more comfortable you become.
That is such an important point. English is not only vocabulary, it is also interaction. How you ask, how you respond, how you show patience, and how you react to a problem all matter. Shopping is a great place to practice all of that at once.
Let's return to my story for one more moment. After I got home with the package, I was nervous but hopeful. I think that is a universal shopping feeling. You are never totally sure until you try it on, open it, or test it yourself in real life.
And when it works, it feels like a win. Not a giant life-changing win, but a satisfying one. A good fit, a fair price, a helpful employee, or an easy return policy can make shopping much less stressful and much more pleasant overall.
Yes, and if something goes wrong, you can always say, "I'll deal with it later," or "I'll sort it out tomorrow." That is also real English. Sometimes the best reaction is not panic, but a calm plan for later, and that sounds very natural.
That is a mature way to think about it. Not every problem needs immediate drama. Sometimes you just need a clear sentence, a deep breath, and a practical next step. English learners should absolutely practice that kind of calm, usable language for everyday life.
So, what have we learned from this shopping conversation? We learned how to describe crowded stores, frustrating moments, convenient online shopping, tricky sizing, hassle with returns, and the relief of finally sorting things out in a simple and clear way.
And we also learned the power of natural phrases like fingers crossed, you can't beat it, I'm just browsing, and can I try it on? Those phrases sound simple, but they make your English feel much more real, fluid, and conversational.
If you want, you can practice by retelling your own shopping story. Start with where you went, what you wanted, what went wrong, and how it ended. Use the new words in a sentence or two each, and do not worry about sounding perfect right away.
Exactly. Real fluency comes from using words in context, not from memorizing them alone. So say the story out loud, repeat the phrases, and make them yours. The more natural they feel, the easier they become when you need them in real conversation.
That's all for today's episode of English Medium. Thanks for shopping with us through this story, and thanks for practicing the vocabulary with us. We hope this conversation helped the words feel more natural, more useful, and easier to remember.
If you enjoyed it, keep listening, keep repeating, and keep using these phrases in your own life. Shopping may be a hassle sometimes, but your English doesn't have to be. See you next time, and good luck with your next purchase.
Bye for now, and fingers crossed your next shopping trip is easy, affordable, and actually fun. If it turns tricky, at least now you have the language to describe it clearly and confidently.
And if it turns dramatic, you'll still know how to talk about it in natural English. That's the real goal here. Clear words, real situations, and a little bit of confidence every time you speak. Bye.